when we're reconnecting, there also can be this tendency to combine reconnection and debriefing.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back in and it's like all these details about questions about what happened and how it went. And all of a sudden we're in a conversation that has us up to our eyeballs in hard feelings or challenging realities.
Before
Instead
we've
of
even dealt with the feelings of the
just reconnecting
reconnection.
just like, hey, I'm here, you're here, we're still in our relationship. Also, a lot of us, I want to say all, but nothing's all, need time to actually absorb our experience. Like I have
Mhm.
this impulse to download everything that I've just experienced because I'm an external processor. Shocking reality for anybody listening to this. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing for me to do. Often the best thing for me to do really is to spend 10 minutes journaling or to talk out loud to my voice recorder or literally to just walk around in circles outside in our driveway and just kind of feel through and walk through the situation and let myself actually process it myself. And I have clients who recognize that they need a couple of days or more to process for themselves before they really get into details, because otherwise they're sharing things that they haven't metabolized for themselves.
Which means their sharing is
It's now it's like it's building
yeah.
in their partner's reaction. So now my
Yes.
partner's reaction and my metabolization of the experience is happening simultaneously. When we're talking about an individuation oriented relationship, ideally we're starting to metabolize our experiences for ourselves
Mhm.
and also sharing, but not conflating. So a practice of unenmeshing is, yeah, I can absolutely want to share my experiences with my partners. And can I be with them with myself? And having the skill to do both of those things. Welcome to Playing with Fire, the podcast for people who are ready to custom build their love.
We're talking about non-monogamy, however you design it, as an individuation opportunity.
Want to leave the default and make your life spectacularly you? You're in the right place. We are talking about one of my favorite and most powerful techniques, methods, things to think about. What do we call this?
Phenomenon.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to how do I do my relating better, a lot of times we think about communication. This is more specific than that. And this is the topic that I teach because it is the topic that results in the most emergency sessions scheduled in my office.
It happens the most.
Yes. So welcome to transition management.
Yeah.
Transition management means a lot of things. Let's get really specific about what are we talking about. Transitions are, they happen when, if I'm partnered with someone that I live with, when I leave my home and I go on my date, a transition happened. When I come home from that date, a transition happened. If I'm traveling with another partner, a transition's happening. If I'm traveling solo, a transition's happening.
When I leave for work,
Well, yeah, absolutely. So
like
transitions
it can be
happen,
small.
and they can be small too. In this episode, we're going to focus on the transitions that tend to be the stickiest, which are the ones
Yeah. The
where
ones that
my
contain other.
attention is going toward another person who I have a close relationship with. So this can also be, it doesn't have to be leaving a shared space, because transition management matters for common partnerships where we live at a distance. It matters for long distance relationships. It matters when we're sitting together on the couch and my phone buzzes in my pocket 6 times in a row. And I just finally, even though we're watching our show and it's like the new episode of our show, but the phone is now buzzed 6 times. And so I can't resist. And I pull out my phone and I look, and my energy, my attention has now transitioned to another person. Transitions are everywhere. Everybody raise your hand if you also suck at transitions.
Yeah.
I would have to put all my hands and feet in the air. Transitions are the hardest thing in my life, and yet I have designed a life where it is just constant transition. So
Yep.
clearly, my soul wants this in my life.
And they're hard for the person experiencing someone else transition as well as hard for the person who's transitioning.
Yeah, this is everybody involved in the situation it has a
Yep.
role to play in the
Yep.
transition energy management. And the reason I make this a special topic and the reason we teach it in Year of Opening, we teach it in the Deep, we talk about this, I talk about transitions in so many different contexts, is how you handle transitions will often make or break your day-to-day
Yeah.
feeling about a relationship, right?
Yep.
We're all going to have highs and lows. We're all going to have really amazing things that happen, but the transition management is like that's the grinding. It's just the day to day. How does this go? It can grind you down or it can build you up. So I want us all to be thinking about transitions as something that we can proactively manage. We can do it
Yep.
better.
Yeah. And understanding that they're happening is a really good first step.
Yeah.
Like that, oh, I'm trundling along, my day is happening, everything's fine. And oh, let me just answer this text. Everything's still fine. What? I'm still right here. Oh no, actually, that was a little transition.
Yeah. There was a
And
transition in
noticing
and
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yes. They noticed it. And so and we start to as we shift from a monogamous dyadic experience where we we have like long played out rhythms like where there's
Mm,
expectation built in
mm,
as we're going through a shift there's there's just so much that we like I didn't even know that that was going to bother me. And this is so the phone one is fascinating because we
mhm.
can be I've seen people they're like, "Yep, we've been married for years. I never cared about how they use their phone, but now I can't seem stop looking and assuming that they're talking to their other partner. I can't seem to get it out of my brain." So we're going to do actually a whole separate episode on phones and the
Yeah.
energy of phones because
Yep.
I have some stuff to say about that as a depth psychologist. But transition management is it's a skill set. It's something we can do better together. It's something we can get really clear about and we can get proactive about. But people are often surprised by how much attention it takes to address this issue. Um, we just had somebody in a class just this week who said it took us 2 45-minute sessions to make a plan for a transition that the actual transition takes like 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But the planning, this is about getting like making visible what is currently invisible.
Right. And I want to say that sounds daunting, but the more often you think about this, like the next time it won't take 2 45-minute sessions.
No, exactly.
You
So
get better and you get more streamlined and you start to understand yourselves and your partners and you start to understand how to manage these things and what the sticky points are.
yeah, and we're going to make rituals and routines for it.
Yes,
Right?
routines and
It's not
rituals.
just about like, oh, we have to plan for every new event and we have to have this
Yeah.
elaborate planning scheme for every no, it's not that. It's no, we're getting to know ourselves and our needs may be quite asymmetric. And so
Right.
how are we going to address this? How do we want to configure ourselves so that we're each getting our needs met at a time when things could either go really smoothly or all of a sudden something that's supposed to be really fun and additive to our life feels horrible. And
Mhm.
so transitions happen. I think of there's parting each other's space, whether that's energetic space or physical space, and coming back together. Both like we got to deal with both ends of that. Um, People are different in their
Yeah.
needs around transitions. Are you a fast shifter or a slow shifter?
I think that do I shift
Yeah,
myself
yourself.
quickly? No.
But you
What do you
present
think?
Well, I think you present as if you are. I think you're a great case because
Yeah.
you
Oh, sure. Because I will accept the change,
yeah.
but I haven't transitioned myself yet.
But internally, it actually just happened this
Yeah.
afternoon where we went like an hour and a half with you being in kind of this weird, crunchy, like, something's just not quite right in your experience. And it was impacting my experience
Yeah.
because there was a 10-minute transition that needed to happen. And
Yep.
you didn't do everything you needed, but you tried to push it away. You tried
Yeah.
not to have any needs around it,
Right.
which
And
just slows it
that
down.
never works.
Yeah. And it happens to me too. Like,
I mean,
I
yeah, we
am
do it. We try to pretend we don't have any needs.
I so I'm
It's pretend.
it's totally pretend.
It's pretend.
I would say I'm a slow shifter who knows she's a shifter now. Like I know I I am high maintenance and I know I'm high maintenance. And and that's been a huge growth area. So if you
Mhm.
recognize yourself as Ken and I are talking through this, if you recognize yourself as being a pretty speedy transitioner, well, great. That doesn't mean your partner will be. If you recognize yourself as being slow, but you've been faking it, if you've been
Yeah.
trying to be cool, you've been
That's it.
trying to
I was just thinking about that. Yeah, we're surrounded by all these children, and so many of them are just being chill with everything all the
be
time.
chill all the
And as a
time.
result, not experiencing everything they might. And it's like, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was just trying to be chill. No
Yeah.
needs. I'm good. I'm fine. Not fine. I'm fine. I'm not fine. Oh crap. I need to do something about this.
Yeah. So I like to address transition management first by just doing a little personal inventory, like what's going on in here. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember a wonderful moment for me happened actually about 20 years ago when my best friend at the time said she was feeling the need. Okay, we were on vacation and she was making eggs for a group of 10 and the spatula was insufficient to the job. And she literally went and got her husband and sent him to the store to buy a different spatula. And she said to me, "Yep, I'm high maintenance. I need my spatula. Next time I'll pack my own spatula from home, but this is just what I need. I'm not doing the job otherwise." I don't care if that sounds ridiculous to you. I thought it was brilliant.
That
I was
clarity.
like,
That's
you identified yourself. In the meantime, we put out some little breakfasty snacks for the kids. The kids were fine. Breakfast turned into brunch. The spatula was secured, and the whole rest of the week went well because of this. But it was that statement: I'm high maintenance, and I know I'm high maintenance. That is that's a game changer. I think we're all high maintenance, by the way, in our ways, right? Like we all have areas where we're high maintenance. Transitions are a place where you may try not to be, but if that is inauthentic,
mhm.
it's probably going to get really gritty. It's probably not going to feel good real fast, especially if you're in the phase of shifting from monogamous norms to non monogamous norms, or if you're shifting from, okay, maybe we were swinging and we always did everything together and now we're dating separately. And all of a sudden this feels very different. Now I'm
Yeah.
dealing with, yeah, it's okay to be high maintenance, but own it.
Yeah. And needs have a tendency to get very noisy when they get ignored.
They really do.
Right? So here I
They're like
am.
little
Oh,
gremlins.
I always thought I was low maintenance because I didn't ask for anything. I
Yeah.
required a lot of things. I manipulated situations. I was grouchy. I was snarly. Yeah. No. To I have since learned that I am high maintenance, but I haven't learned everything that that means.
Right. And we're
Like
going to be
today, I didn't
learning.
mean to be low maintenance. I just didn't notice some of what I needed.
Yeah. So we're going to learn. So one of the things I love about like calling out transitions is we can see them, especially the physical transitions. So let's really focus
Mm-hmm.
on like parting company and rejoining company. Like I'm leaving the house, I'm coming back to the house. I'm going on a date, I'm coming back from a date. And we're also going to address the long distance issue. So hang on, we'll get to that. Well, there's a flip here. But one of the biggest things that people skip is the fact that there needs to actually be some kind of acknowledgement. A transition deserves attention. It does not have to be laborious. We don't need to create an hour-long ritual, but although you might want one, some people do. If you are a person who recognizes, yeah, when my partner goes out on a date, I want, I want some time spent together in a certain way. I want acknowledgement. I want to light a candle and do some eye gazing. Whatever it is, you can put whatever you want into your rituals, but they can also be super, super simple. We don't have to overcomplicate them. My one of my favorite examples of this is I had some clients who were really struggling because we kept making transition plans together in session. They were doing great with the planning, but then one of them just would not do it. Like we would like they'd make the plan and the plan sounded good and then we'd get to the moment and they wouldn't do it. The plan was not working for them. They needed a simpler plan and they needed to state that need. So once they did, one of the things they settled on is, yeah, you know what? I don't want a lot of physical touching. I don't want a ton of eye contact. Can we just high five at the door? High five will signal that like we're on the same team. Yes, I'm in consent to this. Yes, go team. Let's do this. It their parting ritual reduced down to like 3 minutes, but it actually started working from there.
That's, yeah. I mean, what you want is one that works.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to work.
And now that brings us up to you might have asymmetric needs here. If you have a partner who wants lots and lots of attention and one partner who wants like, oh, can we do the Irish goodbye for this and like kind of pretend like it's not happening? That's where now we got to get into the negotiation of, okay, if those needs are asymmetric, are they asymmetric in a way that we can also deal with? Like perhaps the person who is not going on a date wants parting to go one way when their
Hmm.
partner is leaving, and then flip that scenario. Other partner B is going out on a date, and like we flip that whole thing. And we do it different. Maybe we have two different versions of a transition ritual, or maybe we do compromise, but that doesn't necessarily mean we split the difference.
Right. No,
You and I
that,
were talking about this
yep.
earlier today. Compromise doesn't necessarily mean we split the difference. If you say, I want to go for a long walk, and I say, I don't want to go for a walk, the middle of that is not, let's go for a short walk.
It's right.
Because I said I didn't want to go for a walk. Um, I actually saw I saw Glennon Doyle and Abby Wambach talking that particular situation through on it was an Instagram clip, and I was cracking up because I was thinking how so frequently we have talked ourselves into the idea that compromise means that we'll split the difference with some sort of
Right.
mathematical formulation. But compromise might also mean let's get creative and try something entirely different. Or who does this matter? Like, what need is this meeting of yours? Does it
Right.
actually
And
matter to me?
yeah,
Compromise needs to be more nuanced.
yeah. Very important piece of compromise in my mind is needs can be met in multiple ways. So rather than getting stuck on the ways, what are other ways that both of us can get our needs met
Yeah.
that aren't the original proposal?
Okay, so let's go back to our definition. The definition we use in the year of opening for
Hmm.
needs versus wants, because I think it's super helpful and a lot of people report that it is. We define needs as sort of high level, vague, very, very important, like necessary for you to have a satisfactory, satisfying life. But they're vague. They're things like I have a need for playfulness. I have a need for expressed desire. I have a need for security. Those needs can each be met in multiple ways, and those are your wants. Those are your
The
preferences. Your
wants are the
wants
things
are,
that
how do
get you
I
to the needs.
specifically want to meet this need with this person in this context, which will change over time too. So I love that you're saying like, yeah, since I can meet needs in different ways, that puts me into a creative mindset of,
Yes.
okay, if we're going to look at transitions and you and I don't agree on how to handle a transition, what are the underlying needs? Can we like let's get down underneath this a little bit and get into, oh, if I have a need, for instance, to feel safe and I really want that need met through verbal reassurance,
Hmm.
can I tell you that? Can I say I'm looking for verbal reassurance? And if you if you have the capacity to give verbal reassurance, awesome. But if you don't, can we now negotiate about, so that was my want. I wanted verbal reassurance. Maybe I could accept written reassurance. Maybe you could leave me a note. Maybe you could leave me a love note that I could read afterward. Maybe that would work. Maybe we need a pre-canned statement here. Maybe, and this bothers some people, but others find it really, really helpful. Sometimes we just need to say our commitments in ways that are familiar. You and I have one particular thing that we do. We do it when we're parting, we do it when things are difficult. We say, I choose you,
I choose you.
I choose me.
I choose me.
Let's do this together.
Let's do this together.
Even though right now I just want to poke my own eye out. No, I don't always say that last part. It's a pre-canned commitment statement that works for us. And I have other ones that I use with other people. Like
And
I
make up your
customize
own.
them.
What are you committing to? But that
But
practice gets you a touchstone
yeah, something that
to whatever it
can
is that's
potentially meet a need that feels like too hard. So,
yeah,
because something like wanting my transition to have verbal reassurance in it, well, what if you just don't know what to say to reassure me, right? Having some clear statements of like, here, like, let's remind each other of what our intentions are here. We don't have to make everything up on the spot. It's okay to rely on some scaffolding.
yes, scaffolding.
So, one of the big things that I like to think about when we're planning for the parting is also to not burden that transition moment with heavy conversations or new topics, to try to unburden that time, letting it be softer, reminding ourselves that it's okay to have a parking lot, because I don't know, I that the doorknob conversation is real.
Yeah,
That impulse that comes up when someone's leaving, to all of a sudden bring up all the feelings.
yeah. And I know that that has been spurred from me by a desire to either not fully experience the transition,
Yeah,
and so it's a distraction, or to try to prevent the transition entirely. And
absolutely. And sometimes we
it,
don't know we're trying to
no,
prevent it. It's an
uh,
unconscious
mhm,
response. Like it's it's our inner child that's freaking out
yeah.
and unconsciously trying to derail the situation, taking
So
making that
providing
making
ourselves
it
with
visible.
yeah, and providing ourselves with structures of support in these moments. And one of those structures is yeah, a parking lot. Oh, I have a thing, but it's not for now. It's an important thing. We'll get to it, but that's not what we're doing right now.
Yeah. And I have a conversation parking lot for my relationships in my phone, in my notes section. Like, and sometimes the parking lot is actually the only place they need to go. Sometimes
Mhm.
I'll put something down, and then the next time I open up my phone to look at that parking lot, I'm like, I don't care about that. I only seem to care about it when I'm at like transition moments or I'm feeling childlike. Oh, I mean, we could talk about it, but mostly what need to talk about is, oh, that seems to be my hot button issue that I want to bring up when I'm feeling dysregulated.
Right. Yeah.
But when I'm regulated, I feel like, yeah, I understand. I understand what we're doing here, and I feel fine about it. So the parking lot's helpful for me as a tool because it starts me it sets me up to track what comes up for me,
Yeah.
what keeps coming up. And sometimes the parking lot points out what we just won't talk about. Like, oh, that's funny. Every weekend, I forget all about all these conversations when we have time to talk about them.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about them all week when we need to be working.
Hmm.
That's an interesting tracking tool.
It is.
So now, if we make a plan for parting, I want to think about some bridging rituals. What do you need to have in place? A hug, a short walk together, words, whatever they are. And this also, sometimes it's a thinking of you text, or it's saying your commitment statement. There's lots of things that you might want to plan in, but having a routine of what are your rituals that bridge you out. And then I also want to think about, what about coming back in? Coming back
Sure.
into shared space. When we talk about asymmetry, this is often a really big one. Like I tend to come in pretty hot. When I come back into shared space, if I am not reflective, I come in and I want to share details. I want to talk. I am up. I'm la 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 la. That doesn't work for everybody I've ever partnered with. And
Oh yeah,
so,
the asymmetry of this is what you want for the incoming transition, but it isn't necessarily what your partner wants.
yeah. And
Um,
when we're reconnecting, there also can be this tendency to combine reconnection and debriefing.
mhm.
So we come back in and it's like all these details about questions about what happened and how it went. And all of a sudden we're in a conversation that has us up to our eyeballs in hard feelings or challenging realities
Before
instead
we've
of
even dealt with the feelings of the uh,
just reconnecting our,
reconnection. Yeah.
yeah, just like, hey, I'm here, you're here, we're still in our relationship. Also, a lot of us, I want to say all, but nothing's all, need time to actually absorb our experience. Like I have
Mhm.
this impulse to download everything that I've just experienced because I'm an external processor. Shocking reality for anybody listening to this. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best thing for me to do. Often the best thing for me to do really is to spend 10 minutes journaling or to talk out loud to my voice recorder or literally to just walk around in circles outside in our driveway and just kind of feel through and walk through the situation and let myself actually process it myself. And I have clients who recognize that they need a couple of days or more to process for themselves before they really get into details because otherwise they're sharing things that they haven't metabolized for themselves.
Which means their sharing is,
It's now
um,
now it's like it's building in
yeah,
their partner's reaction. So now my
yes,
partner's reaction and my metabolization of the experience is happening simultaneously. When we're talking about a an individuation oriented relationship, ideally we're starting to metabolize our experiences for ourselves
mhm.
and also sharing, but not conflating. So a practice of unenmeshing is, yeah, I can absolutely want to share my experiences with my partners. And can I be with them with myself? And having the skill to do both of those things and to recognize the difference. So, differentiation is being able to tell the difference between my emotional state, my thoughts about my experiences as distinct from my partner's. So, for many of us, that's going to require some active, like, I got to build in a buffer. There
Yeah.
needs to be a buffer for rest, for processing solo, for allowing things to come back into me before I share me with you. And if I don't express that to my partner who I'm coming home to, that may look like rejection. Like, wait,
Right.
you came
Yeah.
home and you're not even available for me? So this is the stuff that we're when we talk about this and we make a plan for it, it's a big deal. And we cannot neglect this detail. No matter how long the separation is, whether you are away for an hour coffee date or a 1 month sojourn to a foreign country with another partner, the last bit of time before reentry, the person who's at home is likely to have their hardest time right in that last bit. It's very much that proverbial the darkest hours right before dawn. That I get so many messages from clients saying like I was totally fine and now
Yeah.
it's 5:30 and I know they're coming home at 6 and I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind and I'm angry and I want to tear everything apart and I just I'm so sad. I'm going to run away. I can't do this. Preparations for transitions isn't just about how we prepare to be together, but also how do we prepare ourselves for the reality as we're going through this and learning, like, oh yeah, do you consistently have trouble in that last bit of time? If it's been a long trip, maybe it's the last day or the last few hours. If it's been shorter, maybe it's the last few minutes. But if that's you, if that's ringing a bell, let's make a plan for how you can tend to your body, your actual sensations in that time. Often that time is loaded up with anticipation and fear and also caretaking activities or
Yeah.
work,
Right.
right? And so it's all stacked up and there's just so much stress packed into what really ideally would be a more relaxed time, a time to tend to self.
Right.
So we just heard somebody in class say the other day that she asked her partner, he's going away for 6 days, he'll come back, and she said, "Please don't come home right away. I have an important presentation to give. So do not come home right then because I don't want to be thinking about that immediately. So I would like you to come home at this time." So he's going to delay his return so that when he re-enters their space, they can actually handle their re-entry rituals together. And
That is really
that's it.
that's masterclass stuff right there.
That's the stuff. That is what makes transitions deeper intimacy. It's what makes us feel like, yeah, this, even if there were hard feelings, even if this was all very, very difficult, that move right there, it is also a profound move of differentiation to say, oh, I recognize I have different needs. You have just been traveling. You may need to come home, but you know what? I've been holding the fort down here.
Yeah.
This has been hard for me and I have this need. Yeah, here's what I've got. This is what I need right now. It's it, it's a brilliant thing, and we often need to remind ourselves of these little steps.
Yeah.
It's so easy to forget. So if we have like one time goes well and then we forget and the next time we're like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
it all went horribly this time."
Yeah. What
So I'm
happened?
going to remind that same client, like, remember, you needed to make a plan that actually took into account what was going to be going on in your life at that time.
I really appreciated what you said about taking care of the body.
Oh yeah.
The person that's at home in that last little bit before the transition actually happens. That's a really good time to pay attention to what your body's asking for. Because that's what happened earlier today. I needed to take care of my body in a way that I just ignored my body. I was
Mhm.
all in my head. I was doing head things. And so I gave my mind something to distract it, to like stop focusing. But I didn't help my body, which was still holding the stress of what
Yeah.
I had done.
Yeah, that also, I mean, that applies to the person who's been out
Oh,
as well,
sure.
right? So,
Absolutely. Hmm.
remember, you're carrying home now a whole new, an entirely different reality.
Yeah.
So now you enter the space, and now what? Like, you just entered with another reality. It is worth attending to, like, what's going on in you? Are you all bubbles? Are you like, what's
Yep.
happening? So this is where having clear, actionable regulation strategies really, really helps.
Yes.
So now before we wrap up, I want to make sure we address the flip, the inside out version of this. If I am in a long distance relationship
Hmm.
and I'm going to a partner, or
Oh,
they're
yeah.
coming to me,
Mhm.
I see this whole transition management as being inverted, where now when we're coming back together, that's the first part. So coming back together is right away, and often debriefing needs to happen right away because there's so many details. Maybe we have lots of things to share. But we still need to separate, like, what about reconnection?
Yeah.
So if you're experiencing the long distance relationship, flip this whole thing, and we want to plan for reconnection and debriefing right up front and getting on the same page, starting to lay out expectations, ideally having some routines, some rituals that help us come back into shared space and create a shared reality. And when I say long distance too, I don't just mean across the country. I mean, like, if you are a non-nesting partner, if you are a person, I have partners that I only see like once a year. I mean, that's there's so much to catch up on, even if we've been in regular contact. Because
Right.
once we enter each other's physical space,
Now there's a whole different
there's
context, and you
so
each
much.
bring your own context to the other, and now you have to figure out how to turn that into the shared context.
Right,
And usually, in my experience, before doing that, establish a connection.
right. I mean, you and I just keep beating the drum that separate, reconnection, and debrief.
Yep.
Allow yourself to reconnect in embodied ways, yes, but that doesn't just mean sex. That means allowing yourselves to actually enter each other's energetic fields. Okay, I am here. I'm with you. What does this feel like?
Yep.
Check in with your own body. What's going on in your body? Also, take care of your basic needs. When you're entering each other's space, are either of you hungry, angry, lonely, tired? Like, we got to address those things and allow for some reconnection time before we start downloading all the minutia of everything in our life. And I am a big fan of this. Sort out reconnection from debriefing. When we separate those two things, even by just a small period of time, the debriefing goes better. Debriefing
Yep.
now is sitting on a foundation of
That's it. Yeah, you've
us
you've established the
having
foundation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
us having some shared meaning and us recognizing that even if there are things in debrief that are uncomfortable,
Yep.
even if there were, say, breaches in an agreement, having reconnected means, right? And I recognize that you are a whole human I care about.
Yeah.
And we might have hard feelings in front of us, but that doesn't mean we don't also have
Yep. So
care.
it's a nuanced, it can be a nuanced thing.
Right,
I want to reconnect. There are things to work out, but I want to reconnect.
right.
You mentioned being careful about being hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, okay, so long distance partners, jet lagged. Oh, that's all those things. You're hungry, angry,
All
lonely, and tired.
Yeah. And so that actually brings into like, what are the logistics?
Yeah.
Like,
What are
really, like, what are
totally?
you each
Hmm.
walking in with?
Yeah.
When you are in shared space with someone again, what's going on? Is one of you carrying a large burden of work? Is one of you
Yep.
jet lagged? Has one of you been handling the home front and dealing with all the dogs and all the things and all the children, whatever? Has one of you been on vacation and the other hasn't? Has one of you just had the best sex of your life and the other is like, "Oh my god, I can see it. I can see your aura has changed." Like, what we're bringing new
Whatever we're
realities
bringing.
back
Yeah.
into shared space. It's incredibly tender and deeply, like, honoring work to say, yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. We're entering into this liminal space together of we're gonna come back into each other's sphere. And when we're in a long distance situation, we do that. Then we get to have some time together. Then we have to do parting. So parting happens at the far end. And I think in this case, parting deserves even more clear ritual, some real honoring, some like
Yes.
what have we just experienced together? What are our plans as we separate? What are our plans for reconnection once we are separate? Or are we not going to be in contact? Are we actually going into a phase of like low contact? I have partners who I
Something.
don't talk to in between visits, like, other than, like, "Yep, okay, it's time to schedule the next one." We don't really talk. We don't have a lot of ongoing day-to-day communication. What
But
are
you
the
do
expectations?
something to get the shared vision of what it's going to be like.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember, most agreements are about setting expectations. They're
Right.
not about, like, trying to glue things down and make rules. They're just about getting clear on what do you expect and what do I expect. So transition management is huge. Um, it's an enormous It's an enormous topic that when I'm working on it with a dyad who's been together for a while, often they feel some pressure to like, well, we've never needed this before. So I just want to invite you, remember, some stuff's going to change. If this all feels like, my God, why so much work around things that we used to just do? Yeah, because everything changed.
Yep.
But if you're in new relationships, remember you get to set the norms and like the die is cast in those first few months. Like how the relationship is going to go will have so much to do with how you handle these things in the first few days, weeks, and months. So if you're in a newer relationship, even though you might not want to have elaborate rituals or big, huge agreements, can you start setting the norm that we pay attention to transitions? That we notice that transitions in and out of space and in and out of each other's energetic space matter. That by itself, that is going to set you up for the long term being, oh, we are people who pay attention to aspects of our relationship that could be dysregulating, could be separating, and instead they become generative.
So I want to invite our listeners to share what do you do for transitions?
Yeah, I would
Share.
love
I
to
mean,
hear. Yeah,
I would love to hear everybody's rituals, rites, practices, whatever. Um, and you can do
absolutely.
that by you could.
I mean, you can do it if you're on your podcast listening device. There's like some of them you can
Yeah, I was
actually
going to say
respond to us. There are
you could
comments.
add a
If you're
comment.
watching on YouTube or if you're on Spotify, you can make comments, and you can
But
also join us at an
yep,
AMA. We've got a couple more coming up in the fall. The AMAs are it's just a small group of us getting together to talk about the topics that come up here on the
yeah,
podcast.
you get to talk back to us. Tell us what
Uh,
what's on your mind.
Absolutely. And we would love to see you there. We'll make sure the link for that is in the show notes. Thanks everybody for listening to this one. This is a make it or break it skill for me. If I were going to star one
Yes.
and share it with my friends, this would go right in my top 5. So, thanks for listening. There's no one right way to design your relationship. And lots of people, actually about 25%, according to a recent national survey, are interested in some type of open relationship. But how do you know if you are ready to open up happily? Not everyone is, and that's no problem. I've got a 60-second quiz that will give you the answer. And even better, you'll walk away with your next step, whether you're good to go or not so much when it comes to opening up. And this is no BuzzFeed nonsense. I personally designed this quiz from my years of academic research. Go to joliquiz.com. That's JOLIQUIZ.com and find out if you're ready to open up happily and what to do if you are or if you're not.